General Hospital spoilers. Alexis Davis sinks deeper as Rick Lansing takes pleasure in her fall. The once formidable moral compass of Port Charles, Alexis Davis, has shattered into shards of compromise and contradiction. Beneath her polished exterior and long-standing reputation as a woman of law, justice, and personal principles, lies a truth far more uncomfortable, one that Rick Lansing is now exploiting with ruthless precision. As Ava Jerome tightens her grip through blackmail and Rick watches with quiet satisfaction, the line between justice and revenge has never been more blurred. A truce written in sand. It began with a temporary ceasefire between Alexis and her ex, Rick Lansing. A moment of civility. A rare window where the two could, perhaps, operate in the same orbit without venom or resentment. But in the world of General Hospital, peace is fragile, and often deadly. That fragile peace was obliterated in an instant when Rick and Elizabeth Weber found themselves inches from death in a devastating car crash. The cause? A twisted attempt at vigilante justice from Kristina Davis, Alexis's daughter, who tampered with Rick's brakes under the mistaken belief she was targeting Ava Jerome. The irony? It was Ava herself who convinced Rick not to press charges. She saw leverage in Kristina's crime, and a future of financial opportunity. Ava's leverage, Alexis's downfall. What followed was a harrowing descent for Alexis, one that saw her values crumble beneath the weight of maternal desperation and moral panic. To protect Kristina from a prison sentence that could destroy her, Alexis did the unthinkable: she paid Ava off. Not once, not as a desperate act of mercy, but as an open-ended arrangement, a silent confession that her ethics had a price tag. Ava wasn't just extorting Alexis, she was bleeding her dry, and Alexis allowed it, all in the name of family. It was the perfect storm for Rick Lansing. Rick's quiet reign of retribution. Where Ava saw profit, Rick saw vindication. Watching Alexis spiral became his twisted comfort. He had long endured her judgment, her righteousness, her constant reminder that she operated on a higher moral plane. But now, the queen had fallen. And Rick, with all his scars and bitterness, stood above her, not as a savior, but as a witness to her hypocrisy. When Alexis visited Rick under the guise of concern, he saw right through it. He knew then what she feared, that the truth would not just ruin her, but unravel her image, the one she had constructed so carefully for years. She wasn't the incorruptible defender of justice anymore. She was a mother willing to sell her soul to keep her daughter's name out of the headlines. And Rick couldn't have been more delighted. The final game, morality versus vengeance. In interviews, Rick's own actor, Rick Hurst, described it best: it's about revenge. Rick was vilified for making difficult choices in the past. Now Alexis is being forced to make the same ones, and she's breaking under them. The lines Rick delivers: "You're always waving the flag of morality, until it's your daughter," cut deep, not just for Alexis, but for everyone in Port Charles who once admired her strength. Alexis had the opportunity to make Kristina face consequences. At the brink of getting her daughter committed, Perhaps the first step toward healing, she backed away. Whether out of fear, guilt, or misguided maternal instinct, her decision not only emboldened Ava's blackmail but sealed her own fate. She now exists in limbo, morally compromised, financially enslaved, and emotionally cornered. Rick sees all of this. And he thrives in it. The cost of silence. Port Charles is no stranger to scandal, but this particular saga is different. It isn't about mafia wars or corporate takeovers, it's about the collapse of a once proud idealist. It's about the mother who silenced justice with dollar signs. It's about the former husband who, in watching her drown, sees redemption in her failure. Rick has no plans to intervene. His revenge isn't fiery or immediate, it's cold, calculated, and quietly cruel. He doesn't need to raise his voice or take legal action. Watching Alexis transfer money to Ava every week is enough. Every wire transfer is a reminder of the pedestal she fell from, and the man who saw it coming. Broken alliances and new frontiers. And yet, there's a deeper tragedy beneath it all. Molly Lansing Davis, the daughter both Rick and Alexis share, may never see her parents as allies again. The damage between them is now structural, their animosity permanently inked by betrayal, regret, and the shadow of a daughter driven to madness. Kristina's mental state remains in flux. She's still haunted by rage and delusion, still capable of dangerous impulsivity, and still unrepentant. Alexis isn't helping her anymore, she's enabling her. And in doing so, she's not just protecting Kristina from the law, she's protecting her from reality. Rick sees this too. And though he says nothing, he knows the reckoning is far from over. The verdict. In the eyes of Port Charles, Alexis Davis may still be a lawyer, a mother, a woman of words. But in the eyes of Rick Lansing, she's something else entirely. A fallen angel who proved, when tested, that her wings were made of wax. And the worst part? She knows it too. General Hospital is never short on secrets, lies, and unexpected alliances. But this chapter, Alexis's unraveling and Rick's quiet revenge, may stand as one of its most quietly devastating tales. Because sometimes, the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun or a knife. It's knowing someone's truth, and watching them live with it.